So today we're going to be looking at a stone mill made by Sana. And this is a unique product as it mills grains with stone just like they used to back in the day. But this one here is electric. So I've already opened it up. We can see here a little picture what it looks like and our voltage 110, and pretty much that's all that's on the box. So this machine is handmade in Germany. So right on the top we have a lid, and we can see it's in this beech wood finish, which is actual wood, and that's going to be our theme throughout the whole machine. We've got a foam seal pad underneath. Operating instructions kind of just goes over quickly of how to use it and everything about the machine. So looking at it here closer, we can see all the parts. Then our specifications, we do have an 850 gram hopper. It is a millstone. Also our motor watts is 360, which is quite powerful. It weighs about 8 kilograms, which is about 17 pounds. And then our dimensions there, and it has a warranty of 15 years. And yeah, you can really tell it's a high quality product when that kind of warranty is offered. So looking inside, you can see the machine. That's the hopper here. We're just going to carefully pull it out. It's packed very well. Lots of cardboard protecting it. And that's pretty much everything for the box. And this is how handmade quality items are usually like. Very simple, but very to the point. So we can see the finish of this machine is a beech wood color, which kind of clashes with our table, which looks very similar. So it kind of camouflages, but it's a very beautiful finish, and it would go very well in any kitchen that has, you know, like granite countertop or anything of that nature. It would look really good with this type of wood. So we can see the build finish is beautiful. It does have quite a decent weight to it as I move it around. So looking at it here from the front, we can see we got a logo here, the Sana grain mill. This is where our grains will come out. On the top here, we have the grind size adjustment. And if we spin this, we can see it kind of clicks. So the more this way you go, the bigger the grain is. And then that way will be smaller. And that's what's indicated here by this little black dot. And it does go all the way to this side here. So it's not necessarily this is the gauge. It's from here to all the way here. So medium would be right in the middle, obviously. And we'll probably leave it at that and start there. And as you guys can see, it wasn't very easy to turn, meaning it's not hard, but it does take some effort. So if there's grain in there, probably even harder to turn. So keep that in mind, and you probably want to turn it as the machine is running. That way it can adjust accordingly, especially if you're going towards the smaller size. All right, so let's look at this side here. So looking at it from the front, this would be your right side, and this is where our power switch is. So that's gonna power it on and off, and that's all that this machine has. Just a grain adjustment and the on and off switch. Going to the back, we got our power cord that nicely comes out of here, and it's not too thick. Pretty normal looking size. The wattage is not too high, so it doesn't need to be thick, and it looks like it's about 3.5, maybe 4 feet. Not too long, but long enough to reach most outlets, I would think. And as we keep going around to the other side, we can see here it's quite clean and there's not too much going on. And we're back at the front. So here we are looking at it from the top. This lid just sits on there. It doesn't really precisionally fit. It kind of moves around a lot, which is kind of interesting that they didn't make this more precise. But yeah, gasket here does keep it from moving around. It's mostly just to cover so nothing else falls in there. Yeah, as we can see, we got a very nice clean looking hopper. And this is where the feed is, where the grains will fall in and then get grinded in the stone. Very beautifully made. Everything is wood. Now there is a way to take this apart, and the way you do this is you turn it like you're unscrewing it, and you just keep going. And as you do this, it should eventually unscrew completely. It's going to take a few revolutions, and we can see our dot is back here. But yeah, it looks like it cut loose. So now we can raise it up, and you guys can see we're actually threaded. There's threads here, and there's threads here on the inside where this screws on. And so the reason we're taking this apart so we can see the stones and the sizes of them. And here you guys can see the actual stone. So there's one on this side and then another one here. This is the one that the motor turns. And you can't put this on the wrong way as there's two little pins here that go together just like that. So, and actually it is also spring loaded. What's interesting is all of these pieces are plastic. It seems to be like very durable plastic, and all of this here also. And the spout of where the grain goes out, right here, you can kind of see my finger right there. So it goes through there and then out. So it does kind of appear that maybe these stones are serviceable, as there is a bolt here that seems to unscrew it. This probably can come out. And this one here is definitely serviceable, as you can just buy a new part and you'll have a new stone. But considering how long these things last, you probably won't have to worry about that for many years, as this machine is rated for 15 years of warranty. It seems like this is more like of a lifetime setup here, where you don't have to do anything for the life of the machine. All right, so let's put this thing back together, which is not too hard. We'll just start screwing it on, and you guys can see it starts to click again. So we're gonna have to click this thing quite a bit till we get to the maximum clearance. So this thing does have a lot of adjustability. All right, so it looks like that was it. And our dot is exactly back where it needs to be on that side. So we're just gonna back it off back to the front. So as we start grinding grains, we can adjust to be more finer, going that way as the stones get closer together, or this way, the stones get farther away, which makes the flour or the grind more coarse. So I realized I haven't showed you guys the bottom of the machine, and here we can see we got feet. They're kind of small, but they're pretty strong, looks like. Then we got venting under here, and our motor we can kind of see there. And also we got a little tag there indicating our voltage and the wattage of 360 watts. So naturally for the next part, you're gonna need some kind of grains or berries, however you want to call them. Here we have hard red winter wheat from Washington. It is good for grinding, as it says here that they do not need to be washed before grinding. So we're just gonna literally use them the way they are out of the bag. All right, so I got the bag opened, and this is what our grains look like. They're pretty good size. They're dry, and they look like they're ready to be milled. So we're just literally gonna put them here in the hopper, just pour in how much we think we need. So you get quite a bit of more flour than you do with grains. I'm not sure exactly the ratio, but yeah, depending on, how much you're gonna grind, just fill it up as you need it. We're just gonna start with this much. All right, so I got the machine plugged in. I got this little bolt so we can output our flour into. I guess we'll leave the lid open so we can see. So let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, so it's definitely... All right guys, so it's actually very loud, and our grind is quite nice, I think. It looks a little coarse. So the machine is extremely loud, and it's a little startling because when you first turn it on, it just goes full power. So it's either on or off. But let's go ahead and go a little bit more this way to the finer. All right, so I went kind of right here, about 5-6 clicks that way. So let's see what we get. I'll move this to the side so we can see a little better. All right, so that was a mistake because we're not supposed to make it finer when we have grain in there, as it does compress it, and then the motor can't have enough power to spin it. So right now it's just stuck. So what we need to do is go back to the middle, start it as it's grinding, turn it to where we want it. So turning it back, we're gonna start it. And we can see maybe that it is definitely much finer. So yeah, not too sure exactly what consistency needs to be, but we can tell, maybe we can tell that this is coarser and this is finer. But I have a feeling finer is probably going to be better, at least for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind the rest of this with the dot pointing about here. And then we'll dump it all in there and run it again, which you can do that also if you want to. And that's it. So whatever we put in there, and this is how much we got, which was quite a decent amount. I would say it's double of the grains we put in there, maybe even actually 3x. So basically 2/3 more than grains. Yeah, so if we want to grind this again, we can. We're just going to dump it in the hopper and just regrind it, and that can, you know, make it even more finer. Maybe we will go a little bit more this way as I turn it on to make it even more finer. We do need to shake it a bit because it's powdery on the top. It doesn't really want to fall in. All right, and that's all of it. And this is what we got. So yeah, actually this looks much more like flour than the first time around. But maybe it does need to go through a couple times, become very fine. Feels just like flour now. So yeah, maybe starting off a little coarser and then, you know, going this way and regrinding it might be the best way to do it, not to give the machine so much pressure, and also to refine it to a much finer consistency. So yeah, if you want to make your own flour at home, it looks like the Sana grain mill is a great way to do it, as it's very easy to use, very high quality, hand built in Germany, has an incredible 15-year warranty, and grinds the wheat kernels beautifully, especially if you run them through a couple times. So if you always wanted to do this at home and have the most natural wheat flour that you can get, because you're making it straight from the kernels, and so you know exactly what you're using to make bread and whatnot else with, getting a grain mill is a perfect companion for this job. So unfortunately these are kind of hard to get sometimes, so be patient. They do come in stock here and there, but if you do get a chance to get one, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So if you are interested, links in the description, check it out. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.